The millionaire was left speechless, his heart pounding with disbelief, when he realized that the woman he had cherished since youth, whom he had believed dead for 20 long years, was still alive. Jonathan Carver was a man who had it all, a successful business, wealth, and power. Yet, behind the polished image and the routine of board meetings and grand dinners, his heart carried a heavy secret. 20 years ago, Jonathan had lost the love of his life, Lillian, in a tragic car accident. Not only did he believe she died that day, but their unborn child was also lost. Every day, as he sat in his modern office overlooking the bustling city, he could not escape the painful memories of what he had lost. One ordinary afternoon, while taking a short walk to clear his mind, Jonathan noticed something unusual on a busy city street. Amid the throng of people, his eyes were drawn to a small flower stand. The woman behind the stall was arranging a bouquet of vibrant blooms, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. In that instant, Jonathan's heart skipped a beat. She looked exactly like Lillian. He hesitated, unsure if he was dreaming. But there she was. The same soft smile, the same gentle eyes, and the same familiar way of moving. Unable to resist the pull of old memories, Jonathan walked over. "Excuse me," he said softly. "Do I know you?" The woman looked up with a blank expression. "I'm sorry," she replied. "I don't think we have met." Jonathan's voice trembled with a mixture of hope and sorrow. In his heart, he believed he was looking at Lillian. But as he spoke, he learned that this woman had no memory of her past. She introduced herself as Grace, a name that, while different, carried no weight of shared memories for her. Haunted by the strange encounter, Jonathan could not shake the feeling that there was more to Grace than met the eye. Determined to find out the truth, he decided to take action. He hired a private investigator named William. William was known for his discretion and his sharp eye for detail. Jonathan hoped that William would uncover any clues about Grace's past that might link her to the woman he once loved. William's investigation led him to a surprising discovery. According to the records, there were no entries for Grace before 15 years ago. It was as if she had appeared out of nowhere. Moreover, he learned that she suffered from dissociative amnesia, a condition that erased many of her early memories. The evidence was not enough to confirm Jonathan's deepest suspicions, but it certainly hinted at a mystery that begged to be solved. Night after night, Jonathan revisited old photos and letters from his past. Every image of Lillian, every memory they had shared, stirred a quiet hope inside him. Could it be that Lillian had survived the accident, only to lose her memory? His mind was filled with questions that he could not answer alone. One chilly evening, unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, Jonathan decided to confront the one person he believed held the answers, his father, Henry. Their relationship had always been distant, marked by unspoken resentments and hidden truths. Jonathan's heart pounded as he sat across from Henry in the dim light of his study. "Father," Jonathan began, his voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "I need to know the truth about Lillian. I saw a woman today who looks just like her, and I believe she might be alive." Henry's face grew dark, his eyes avoiding Jonathan's gaze for a moment. Finally, with a heavy sigh, Henry confessed. He admitted that he had orchestrated the car accident all those years ago. His motive was not cruelty, but a misguided desire to keep Jonathan away from Lillian. Henry believed that Lillian was not good enough for his son, that her humble origins would tarnish the family name. In a moment of selfishness and fear, he arranged the accident that not only separated them, but also led everyone to believe that Lillian had died for good. "Lillian survived," Henry continued, his voice breaking with regret. "But she was deeply hurt, both physically and emotionally. When she woke up, she could not remember her past. We made the painful decision to give up the baby, hoping that both mother and child could have a chance at a new life. Jonathan listened in stunned silence, his heart aching with both sorrow and a spark of hope. The truth was more complicated than he had ever imagined. His father's betrayal had caused a lifetime of pain, but it also meant that Lillian might still be out there, alive, even if only as Grace. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Jonathan's determination grew stronger. He knew that he had to reach out to Grace and gently show her that there was a life and a love waiting for her, a life she had once known as Lillian. He began to approach her slowly, sharing little details of her past, careful not to overwhelm her. Grace listened with wide, innocent eyes, sometimes smiling at the sound of a familiar word, sometimes frowning in confusion. It was as if each mention of her past stirred a tiny spark of recognition deep within her. Jonathan took her to quiet places, where the light was soft and the surroundings were calm, places that might help her unlock memories locked away by years of pain and forgetfulness. One afternoon, as they sat in a small, peaceful park, Grace suddenly froze. A gentle breeze swept through the trees, and for a moment her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I heard something," she whispered, "like a baby crying. It felt so real." Jonathan's heart skipped a beat. That sound, the faint echo of a child's cry, was the piece of the puzzle he had been searching for. Encouraged by that moment, Jonathan continued to work with Grace, slowly piecing together her lost past. With every shared memory and every tender moment, the woman before him began to resemble Lillian more and more. Though her mind was clouded with gaps, her heart was slowly awakening to the love and life that she had once known. The investigation, the confessions, and the tentative steps toward healing all led to one final truth. Their daughter, Hope, was still alive. Hope had been adopted by a kind and loving couple, George and Margaret, who had raised her with all the care and affection in the world. The revelation filled Jonathan with both joy and a deep sense of responsibility. He knew that reuniting with Hope would not only complete his broken family, but also help Grace, no, Lillian, recover the rest of her memories. The day of the reunion was filled with nervous excitement. Jonathan, now certain of who she was, gently told Lillian the truth. With trembling hands, he explained how she had survived the accident, how her memory had been stolen from her, and how their daughter Hope had grown up away from them, sheltered and loved by her adoptive parents. Arrangements were made for a meeting at a quiet, sunlit cafe on the outskirts of the city. George and Margaret arrived with Hope, a bright young woman whose eyes held both curiosity and warmth. When Hope saw Lillian, something stirred inside her. Even though she had never met her biological mother before, she felt an instant connection, a pull that she could not explain. The meeting was gentle and filled with cautious smiles and soft words. Lillian's eyes filled with tears as she embraced her daughter for the first time, and Jonathan felt his long-held pain begin to melt away in the warmth of their reunion. Hope listened intently as Jonathan and Lillian shared the story of their lost past and their journey back to each other. In that small cafe, surrounded by the soft hum of quiet conversations and clinking cups, a new chapter of their lives began. After the reunion, the path toward healing was neither easy nor straightforward. Lillian decided that to reclaim the life that had been stolen from her, she needed to find herself again. She started attending therapy sessions, where she slowly began to uncover the buried fragments of her past. It was a painful process. Each session brought back memories that were too heavy to bear at first. But gradually, she learned to accept them as part of who she was. One day, while talking to her therapist, Lillian discovered that art could be a powerful way to express her emotions. She had always loved to paint, but over the years, that passion had been buried under layers of fear and loss. With encouragement from Jonathan, she picked up her brushes once more. At first, her paintings were full of chaotic strokes and dark colors, reflecting the inner turmoil that she felt. But as the sessions went on, her art began to change. The paintings grew softer, filled with light and hope, mirroring the slow return of her memories and the blossoming of her spirit. Jonathan stood by her side through every setback and every small victory. His love and support were unwavering, and as Lillian's memories slowly returned, so did the bond they once shared. Each day they rediscovered little pieces of themselves, a shared laugh over an old memory, a quiet moment spent in the embrace of a familiar song, a touch that spoke of promises made long ago. Hope, too, played an important role in this journey. As she learned about her biological parents and embraced the love they offered, she balanced her life between the two families. She visited her adoptive parents, George and Margaret, with gratitude and affection, and she also spent time with Jonathan and Lillian, absorbing every detail of her newfound heritage. For Hope, the reunion was not just about reclaiming a lost past. It was about building a future where love and family meant everything. As months turned into a year, the family began to flourish in unexpected ways. Lillian decided to organize an art exhibition to showcase her journey of recovery. The exhibition was held in a small gallery, with each painting telling a part of her story, from the dark days of confusion and pain to the vibrant moments of hope and renewal. Visitors walked through the gallery, touched by the raw emotion and resilience captured on the canvas. Jonathan and Lillian stood together, proud of the progress they had made and the family they had rebuilt. The exhibition was more than just an art show. It was a celebration of second chances and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Every piece of art was a reminder that, despite the hardships of life, there was always a way to find light in the darkness. During the exhibition, many visitors approached Lillian, asking her about the inspiration behind her work. With a soft smile, she explained, "My paintings are my story, a story of loss, hope, and rebirth. I lost everything once, but now I have found love, family, and a new beginning." Jonathan squeezed her hand, and Hope stood proudly by their side. In that moment, they were a family united by past mistakes and future dreams. The journey was not without its challenges. There were days when the memories were too painful, and the scars ran deep. Jonathan often wondered how it was possible to forgive the past so completely. But as he looked at Lillian, with her eyes reflecting both sorrow and hope, he knew that forgiveness was not about forgetting the pain, it was about accepting it, learning from it, and choosing to move forward despite it all. Lillian, too, learned to forgive. She forgave her father for the choices he made, a choice that had separated them all for so many years. Forgiveness, she realized, was the only way to heal and to create a future filled with genuine love and trust. The pain of the past slowly transformed into a quiet strength, a reminder that life can start anew at any moment. In the end, the story of Jonathan, Lillian, and Hope became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It was a reminder that even when life takes away the things we hold most dear, it can also bring us unexpected gifts, a second chance at love, a family reunited, and a future filled with endless possibilities. Jonathan looked out at the city from his office window, the memories of his past now interwoven with the promise of tomorrow. He knew that the road ahead might still have twists and turns, but he was ready to face it with the strength of a man who had loved, lost, and found his way back. Lillian's art, once a silent witness to her pain, now sang the song of her rebirth. and Hope's bright eyes shone with the promise of a life filled with love and laughter. As the sun set on another day, the family sat together on the balcony of their home, sharing stories and dreams. They talked about the future, a future where every day was a chance to start over, to build something beautiful out of the fragments of a shattered past. In that simple moment, there was peace, hope, and an unspoken promise that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. The story of Jonathan, Lillian, and Hope is a reminder that our lives are not defined by the losses we endure, but by the love we share and the courage we find within ourselves to start again. It teaches us that even in the darkest times, there is a glimmer of light, a spark that can ignite a flame of hope and lead us to a new beginning. Years later, the family's story continued to inspire those around them. Jonathan's business thrived not only because of his acumen, but because of the compassion and understanding he had learned through his personal trials. Lillian became a celebrated artist, her work a constant reminder of the power of forgiveness and the beauty of second chances. And Hope, growing up with two families who loved her dearly, learned that her identity was a tapestry woven from both her past and her present. A story of resilience, love, and the unwavering belief that every ending can lead to a new beginning. In every brushstroke of Lillian's paintings, in every warm conversation shared by Jonathan, and in every smile of Hope, there was the undeniable truth that life, in all its complexity, was a journey of endless possibilities. And so the legacy of their love continued to live on, a beacon of hope for all who believed that no matter how lost we may feel, love will always find a way to bring us back home.